guess it doesn't matter. We've had our thick and thin, enough to know that I would rather not go through life without you. And in the end, I'm just glad we're friends. And in the end, I'm just glad we're friends.
Hey everybody, Chico and Poppy here with Poppy, getting ready to make a great dinner. I'm gonna make tonight veal and peppers. And let's see, the closest thing I've done to veal and peppers is probably chicken cacciatore, because it's like the same theory. It's all about the layers, and you're gonna cook everything individually and one by one adding it to your tomato base. Unlike spaghetti sauce, veal and peppers, we're going to keep the tomatoes, I buy them diced. I like a petite dice. These aren't, though I couldn't find those. These are just a very basic diced. I got 4 cans of these in here, and we don't puree the tomatoes like you would with a spaghetti sauce. This is going to be more of a thicker, kind of a tomatoey based sauce. Now, I've talked to you before about different kind of sauces, from bolognese to spaghetti sauce to veal and peppers. So what we're going to do is I use most of the time when I do veal and peppers, I don't buy the veal because it's very expensive. I use pork. And what I've done is I have about 4 pounds here of a nice dark meat pork. If you buy a lighter, like the white meat in like a pork chop, it's very, very dry. But if you buy the dark, just like I've told you with pulled pork, you buy the dark and you will get a awesome flavor, and it'll be more tender and it won't have that dried taste to it. So I have about 4 pounds, and I have sliced these, I've diced these very, very big here. Mercy loves these when she gets the nice big pieces like that in the veal and peppers. I still call it veal and peppers, but I'm using pork. Of course, you can buy the veal if you want, and just remember, you won't get the same awesome flavor in the veal because the veal doesn't have hardly any fat, because it was a cow that they got to when it was young. And so anyways, I hear Chico laughing when I said that. So I'm going to start right away, 100% olive oil, guys, and we're going to brown this pork up just a little bit to give it a little bit of color, okay? Sorry about the sound. I know that I got the camera very close, and people have said that as soon as I start putting stuff in the pan, it's hard to hear, but this is the best equipment I got at the time, as of now. Okay, a little salt and pepper here on the pork. And what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to brown this a little bit, and then it's going to go into our tomato base. Alright, I've already cut up a large package, like about a 12-ounce package. I sliced some mushrooms. I have about 3 large onions that I've cut into strips. And I have about 4 peppers that I've cut into strips. Now, I might not need all this. Just like I've told you in other episodes, I'm going to cook it all off. But you don't just dump it in there, okay? You gotta use your eye. I mean, I can give you ballparks, but you gotta really use your eye. So I'm gonna cook all of this, and then we're gonna slowly add it, just like I do with soups and other things like that. You do it off onto the side, and then you slowly add it together to get the right consistency that's right for you, that's right for each individual person, okay? So we're gonna be cooking these off individually, one by one. But what we need to do right away is we need to get our meat brown and into the pot, because we want to slow cook this for about 3 hours, okay? So as soon as I get this meat brown and into the pot, then we can slow down a little bit. But I'm rushing a little bit here. I was out with Chico and Angelina. We have a pedal boat, and we were out in the pedal boat today, out in the lake. A little longer than I had planned, and now it's starting to get a little later. And like I said, this is a meal that takes like 3 hours to slow cook. So I got to make sure I have this done so when Mercy comes home, she has a meal. right? I don't want to get in trouble here and all of a sudden have her come home and the meat's not tender yet. I want this meat to fall off the bone, and you gotta kind of slow cook it. All right, as this is browning up, I'll tell you about the tomatoes here. Like I said, they're 4 cans of diced. What veal and peppers, the most of the flavor you're gonna get is going to be basil. Okay, I have some dried basil here. I think I have a little bit of basil fresh. I'm gonna cut some of that up and put that in there too, because that's gonna be really nice if you have the fresh. But you got to have a little bit of the dried regardless. Put a little bit of the dried parsley in there. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And where's my pepper? We'll go with a little bit of pepper here. This is just enough to get it started. I'm going to probably modify this 3 or 4 more times. But this is enough to get it started. Veal and peppers has a very basil flavor to it. So I won't use like an Italian seasoning or as much parsley. It'll be more of a basil base. This meat is starting to brown up good. As soon as I get it a little bit browner, it's going to go in the pot, and then I can relax a little bit and we can slowly start to cook the other stuff off. I'm going to cook off the peppers. I'm going to cook the peppers, brown them up nice. When the peppers are almost done, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. And then I'm going to leave the peppers, the onions, and the mushrooms off to the side until like the last hour. So we're going to slow cook this meat with the tomatoes like 3 hours, but 2 hours into it, then I'm going to add the peppers, onions, and mushrooms. If I add it all to that now, within 3 hours, your peppers, onions, and mushrooms will be mush. Okay, so I'm going to cook it ahead of time, but I'm going to leave it off to the side until the last hour. But what we need to do is get this meat browned and into the pot as fast as we can. Alright, this is just about done. I'd like it to be just a little bit browner. Okay, this is good. Alright, so this is going in the pot. This is what you need to do right away. Okay, get this down into the tomatoes. Keep it on a low. Put a cover on it. And now we can relax. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut up some garlic. And then we're going to slowly start to cook off the peppers. And then we're going to cook off the mushrooms. And then we're going to cook off the onions, okay? So I'll start doing that now. Okay guys, what we're going to do here is, don't forget, like I've told you in the other episodes, 100% olive oil, right? 100% olive oil, and I'm going to start cooking off these peppers. Alright? 100% olive oil. You cannot cut corners. If you start using Wesson oil or sunflower oil and all those other oils, you're not going to get the same flavor when you're cooking Italian meals. Make sure it's 100% pure, alright? What we're going to do now is we're going to start cooking off the peppers. When these peppers are just about done, nicely browned, okay? I want them to have nice color on them, alright? Nicely browned. When they're just about brown, we're going to add a little bit of garlic, like a tablespoon or so of garlic, and then I'm going to put it off back into the pot here and leave it off to the side because we're not going to add it to our stuff until the last hour of our 3-hour slow cooking, okay? So I'm going to start doing this. When I get done with this, we're going to do the same procedure with the onions. We're going to cook the onions until they're nicely brown. When they're just about done, we're going to add a little bit of garlic, put it off to the side. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the mushrooms. We're going to add a little more olive oil. We're going to cook the mushrooms. When they're nice and brown, we're going to add a little bit of garlic and put them off to the side. Okay, I'm going to get started doing that now. All right. Okay guys, you can see here how these peppers are nice and brown. So all we're going to do now is about a tablespoon here of some fresh garlic we're going to add to this. You put the garlic in last because it cooks very, very fast. And don't forget what I told you, this is not going in the pot yet. We're going to put this off to the side and we're going to add this like the last hour of our 3-hour process. Otherwise these will turn to mush. Okay, this is done. I'm going to take this out of the pan and we're going to do the exact same procedure with the onions and then the mushrooms. Okay guys, you can see these onions here. See how nice they look? They don't have to be cooked super dark, but we need to brown them up good. We're going to add like the same thing I did with the peppers, about a tablespoon here of the fresh garlic. Toss it a little bit. And now your onions are done. We're going to put this off to the side. We're not going to put them in until the end. Our last step now is the mushrooms. We're going to do the same thing with the mushrooms. guys, these mushrooms are ready. I don't know if you can see them there. The mushrooms, I cook them a little bit, I say al dente. I don't cook these as brown as I do the peppers and onions because mushrooms just disappear in the sauce. So I like them to be a little bit undercooked just so that you'll be able to taste that mushroom and see that mushroom. If you cook it too much, a mushroom will just disappear. Okay, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that garlic. And look, I got extra garlic left over. Should I throw that away? No, of course not. Where do you think it's going to go? Yep, right in there. Because I love my garlic. Alright, let's toss this here, and this is done. So we got our peppers done, we got our onions done, we got our mushrooms done. Okay? They're going to sit off to the side until our meat gets tender, which is about 2 hours. Alright, I'm going to be stirring it periodically. Okay, guys? I'm going to be stirring it here and there. What I've done is I found some fresh basil I put in there. Make sure you buy some fresh basil because it really makes a difference. I would say about 3 tablespoons of a nice chopped up fresh basil. I did a little bit of dry. I had some fresh parsley. I put some fresh parsley in there. And I've added cheese, and I'll probably add cheese a few more times in here. Probably by the time I get done, it's probably about a half a cup in total. Alright, cover goes on this, open just a little bit, and this is going to simmer 2 hours minimum. Alright, 2 hours, and then I will see you on the 3rd hour, and we'll be adding everything to that. Alright, we'll see you then. Okay guys, welcome back. I'm adding the peppers, the onions, and the mushrooms now. I'm on the last hour. We've been cooking this on low for about 2 hours. This is the last hour, so I'm adding the peppers, the onions, and the mushrooms. Okay, I'm going to let this simmer for 1 last hour. In the meantime, I'm going to cook off a pound of thin spaghetti so we can put this over the thin spaghetti. Okay, so 1 more hour and we will be ready to plate. Okay? Okay, we are back. The last hour, since I've put the peppers, onions, and mushrooms in, the last hour is up. Everything is done here. The meat has been cooking for 3 hours, so you know it's going to be nice and tender. So I've already, like I told you, I've already cooked off some of this pasta, this thin spaghetti. And because this is so hot, we don't even have to bring this back to life like I've shown you how to do before. So I'm going to put a little bit in there like that, and we're going to fix our plate. I got the meat in nice big pieces here. Grandma Jen, when she did this, well, typically in the Italian tradition is you never put pasta underneath this. You would eat this without the pasta. But we started selling it in one of our businesses, and it really went well with the pasta, and now we're stuck with it. That's the way we do it all the time now. So there it is. Now, if I didn't have the kids around, I would normally put a little crushed red pepper into this. Of course, I didn't do that here because I don't want to make that too hot. I'll probably do that on my own, but you can do a little crushed red pepper. You can add another little bit of Parmesan cheese. But there it is. There is veal and peppers, and like I told you, I used the pork here, a nice dark pork, not the white pork. Alright, so there you have it. Remember what Grandma Jen used to always say? Enjoy your life and your food every day.